Welcome to this Quarter Protection Briefs video about impairment or disturbance in the mind or brain. Someone can only be said to lack capacity in the quarter protection if they have an impairment or disturbance in the mind or brain. That can be physical, psychological, or take the form of a mental illness. The Quarter Protection Code of Practice sets out some examples of impairment or disturbance of the mind or brain. Conditions associated with some types of mental illness, dementia, significant learning disabilities, the long-term effects of brain damage, physical or medical conditions that cause confusion, drowsiness or loss of consciousness, delirium, concussion following a head injury, and the symptoms of alcohol or drug use. That illustrates it covers a wide range of disorders. Some, like dementia or significant learning disabilities, are likely to mean the lack of capacity is permanent, while concussion or delirium may pass quite quickly. Symptoms of alcohol or drug use could refer to the shorter-term effects while the drugs are still in the system, or more likely the effects of addiction or withdrawal, and it could include the long-term damage to the brain that excessive alcohol consumption can cause. The impairment or disturbance in functioning is known as the diagnostic test. While it's crucial there is an impairment or disturbance, knowing what it is, while useful, is not required for a finding of incapacity. There are obvious practical reasons for this. It allows practitioners without expert neurological knowledge to be able to conduct the assessment. It makes things practical and workable. Then there's an issue that it's notoriously difficult to ascertain the basis of someone's dementia, which leads to disagreement between experts. Maybe one says it's Alzheimer's, another says it's Pick's disease. That puts a judge in a difficult position, having to decide between experts in an area she lacks expertise. But fundamentally, unless it's directly relevant, it's of limited importance. How about this analogy? If you're looking at making a building wheelchair accessible, it's of limited importance why someone is in a wheelchair, just that they are. With capacity, it seems of limited importance the exact reason why at that time, in relation to making that decision, they're suffering from an impairment or disorder, just that they are. But the disorder or impairment is not completely irrelevant. It's important to understand whether it's treatable, whether it may be transitory, or whether it might involve fluctuating capacity. Could the level or areas of capacity change or return? It's also necessary not just that there's an impairment or disturbance of the mind or brain, the diagnostic test, but also that that impairment or disturbance makes them unable to make the relevant decision. That part is known as the functional test. The diagnostic element must sufficiently impair the function. Although the courts have made clear the impairment of function is to be considered first, the functional test, and only if function is impaired is the diagnostic test considered. That's it for this video on impairment or disturbance in the mind or brain. I'm Sam Green. Subscribe or look out for the next Quarter Protection Briefs video.